Have you ever felt that you no longer have the patience to chase after small things? That there's something inside you, a silent yet powerful calling, whispering that you were born for something greater? If you're hearing these words now, it's not by coincidence. It is a divine appointment, one that the universe arranged long ago. You are chosen, not to live like everyone else, but to awaken, to lead, and to illuminate. But before you can do that, you must remember what has long been forgotten: your sacred mission. Society teaches you to pursue stable jobs, secure incomes, and accomplishments that gain approval from the crowd. But there's a truth few are brave enough to face. You can achieve all of those things and still feel empty inside, because no one is born just to live a safe life. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What that means is, if you don't wake up, you will live out someone else's script. But once you begin to turn inward, to look at yourself honestly, you'll realize that God has planted signs within you. Your talents, your intuition, your passions, they were never random. And then one day, you'll understand, you no longer need to keep running, because everything you've been searching for, meaning, peace, prosperity, begins with living in alignment with the mission of your soul. And today might just be the day you start walking that path. 1. You were not born to chase, but to lead. Most people live as if they are part of an endless race, competing for a job, a salary, a place in society. They endlessly seek stability, recognition, and a sense of being somebody through external roles. But you, the chosen one, were not born to blend in. You were born to lead. Do not confuse adaptation with growth. Society teaches you to study hard, work harder, and constantly strive in order to achieve success. But your soul longs for something deeper, a profound understanding of who you are, and a life aligned with the sacred mission that was shaped even before you were born. You are not here to chase after the expectations of others. You are here to awaken your unique essence, the part of you that no one else can express. Every experience, every wound, every dream is a piece of a sacred map, a map that leads you back to your truest self. As long as you're running after jobs, titles, or the illusion of security, you are merely trying to fill a void with things outside yourself. But when you pause, listen, and reconnect with your inner voice, you'll realize you don't have to earn a radiant life. You only need to step onto the path your soul has chosen. The chosen ones don't need to fit in, because your difference is the gift the world is waiting for. Stop chasing and start leading, not by force, but by the light of self-knowing, and the quiet faith that, when you live in alignment with your soul, the universe takes care of the rest. 2. True wealth comes from living your soul's purpose. We're often taught that in order to be wealthy, we must work relentlessly, trade away our time, fight for opportunities, and keep striving no matter what. But that belief is rooted in fear. Fear of scarcity, fear of being left behind, fear of not being enough. True wealth does not come from trying to have more. It comes from daring to be more of who you truly are. You do not become whole by chasing outward things, but by sinking into the depths within. This means that when you live in alignment with your purpose, prosperity flows naturally, not just financial abundance, but also opportunities, connections, vitality, and inner peace. Your purpose is not a specific job title. It is a state of full presence, when you are completely in tune with your essence. Some are born to heal, others to guide, others to inspire. True wealth begins when you realize you don't need to imitate anyone else. You only need the courage to live the truth, seated in you by the divine from the very beginning. When you walk the path your soul chose, you will notice that you no longer need to push, pull, or force. What's meant for you will come. Doors will open, not because you bang on them, but because your energy resonates with the frequency they were waiting for. The universe always responds to the exact vibration you emit. But when you live out of alignment with your purpose, no matter how much money you earn, a part of you will still feel hollow, because you're trying to master what others do well, instead of expressing what only you were born to do best. So if you feel tired, lost, or doubtful about your path, don't ask, what do I need to do to have more? Ask instead, who am I and what was I born to bring into this world? Because from the moment you begin living in alignment with your purpose, you don't just attract prosperity, you become the embodiment of it. 3. Signs that reveal your soul's purpose. Not all of us are born with a clear awareness of our life's purpose. Many people spend decades merely surviving, chasing after what they're supposed to have, according to societal standards, degrees, stable careers, titles, and recognition. But then, often in the silence of exhaustion, or in the aftermath of unexpected breakdowns, a quiet question arises: is this truly the path I was meant to walk? That question is your first sign. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Purpose doesn't come from the outside, it emerges from within, and if you learn to listen, life always gives you signs. Subtle, but precise. Here are a few common signs to help you recognize your soul's purpose. What moves you deeply? When you witness someone suffering and you can't look away. When a story inspires you to tears, that's your heart being stirred. Where your deep emotions arise, that is often where your soul is speaking. What you do more naturally than others? Is there something you do effortlessly? Whether it's listening to others, designing, healing, storytelling, or connecting people, something that comes so naturally, you don't even try to be good at it? That may be the imprint of a sacred gift you were born with. What makes time disappear? This is a sign of entering flow, a state where you align with your core energy. It doesn't drain you. It makes you feel like you've come home to yourself, like you're exactly where you're meant to be. The pain you've overcome in that area. Often, your purpose hides within your wounds. What you've survived, you're often meant to help others survive. Your scars become your compass. Your healing becomes your gift. Your purpose is not about asking, what should I do tomorrow? It's about asking, who was I created to become? And when you find the answer, life is no longer something to endure. It becomes something to offer. 4 steps to align with the divine plan. Not everyone comes into this world knowing what they were born to do. In fact, many people achieve success by society's standards and still feel empty, lost, and quietly wonder, is this really all there is? That's because you may have reached your goals, but still aren't living your purpose. Living in alignment with the divine plan is not a convenient choice. It requires courage. It asks you to release the familiar and step into a journey with no map. But once you begin walking the right path, everything starts to flow. Below are 4 foundational steps to begin living in harmony with your soul's sacred plan. Step 1. Stop running and listen. Divine guidance doesn't come through noise. It comes through silence. You need to pause and give yourself time, not for entertainment, but for connection, meditation, journaling, solitary walks. These are ways to touch the voice within. Ask yourself, what is it that I truly long for? And then listen, without judgment. Step 2. Pay attention to synchronicities. I'm called this phenomenon, synchronicity. When seemingly random events carry deep symbolic meaning, a person shows up at the exact moment you need them. An opportunity appears when you stop searching. A sentence strikes a chord in your heart. These are not accidents. They are signals. When you open your heart to receive, the universe begins to reveal its plan. Step 3. Nurture and refine your gift. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be committed. If you've been given a talent, use it to serve. If you carry deep compassion, learn how to express it well. God does not call the most qualified. He empowers the ones who are willing. Step 4. Trust and take one step at a time. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the first step. Trust doesn't mean waiting passively for a miracle. It means acting with a heart that no longer doubts. When you walk in faith, the doors will open, one by one, at the right moment, in the right place. 5. Don't try to fit in. You were born to stand out. From a young age, we were taught, if you want to be loved, be obedient. If you want to be accepted, be like everyone else. So you learn to hide your wild side, dim your unique light, and live according to a script society wrote for you. But the more you try to blend in, the more exhausted you feel. And the reason is simple. You weren't born to be like them. If you are one of the chosen, if you carry a sacred mission, then you cannot live inside a mold. You are the one meant to light the way, not merely walk by the light. And that means you will be different. Different in how you think, feel, and believe, even in how you define success. The tree that grows towards the light must also send its roots deep into the darkness. Those who live true to their essence often go through a period of deep solitude, because light makes those who live in darkness feel uneasy. They will say you're too dreamy, too idealistic, or not realistic enough. But do not let the voices outside drown out the calling within. The world does not need more perfect copies. The world needs those who dare to be real. Who dares to say what hasn't been said? Who dares to create what has never existed? And your difference, when refined and guided by love, will become a gift to the world. If you feel like you don't belong anywhere, perhaps it's because you were born to create a new place, a space, a community, an idea that's never existed before. You don't need to be accepted to have value. Your value lies in your presence, when you live in alignment with your soul. So don't bend yourself to fit. Stand tall, be different, because that is the very sign that you're walking in alignment with the plan God designed uniquely for you. In a world that constantly pressures you to move faster, be better, and earn more, the act of pausing to listen to yourself is a revolutionary act, but it is also the bravest thing you can do. Because when you live in alignment with who you truly are, you not only liberate yourself, but you also become a light for others. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know every step ahead. The only thing you need is the willingness to believe. Believe that you are not alone. Believe that you are being guided. And believe that God never creates a soul without a clear plan for its journey. You may be different. You may not fit into society's standards, but that is not a failure. It is proof that you are walking a path uniquely designed for you, a path that is not easy, but deeply worth it. And then you will realize true wealth is not the accumulation of material things, but the abundance that comes from within, a heart full of gratitude, a soul at peace, a life that does not strive to prove its worth, because you are already enough, simply by existing. So pause, listen, remember, and then walk with steady faith that you are not born to follow, but to lead.